Oh man, in the heart of the season, July 17th, I believe. So we're right in the middle of all our programming. Kids programs, adult workshops, blah, blah, blah. My musical experience at Blissfest, I have to tell you that it was exhilarating, yet kind of frightening. Because Blissfest is big. We weren't on main stage, of course, being newbies on the block. We were on one of the other stages, Michigan stage, which is set aside for Michigan musicians. And that was all right because we had a pretty good audience. We even had members of other bands that stopped in to listen. And it's really hard to say, yeah, we did great, because the way it's set up, it's not like in a circular pattern when we're practicing. We're all in a line. It was the bass player, myself, next to the guitarist, and off to the right was the keyboardist, synthesizer / accordion player, and behind us was the drummer, really good drummer. And so to get the sound that we like from my violin, I actually used my Orange Crush bass amp combo. And what a bass amp combo is, it's the head, the power unit, and the speaker all in one cabinet. Bigger systems would have the head or the power unit sitting on a bass cabinet, which is just speakers. But mine is a combo. And the electric violin sounds good through this bass amp combo. And it was set up a couple feet behind me, and there was a microphone that went to the main sound system, you know, big speakers on the other side, microphone. So it sounded to me like, for all intents and purposes, I was really the only one playing, because, you know, the sound was right behind me. But that was cool. It was intimidating yet cool. Now the monitor, for those of you who haven't performed in a live venue, a big one, you'll have monitors, which are speakers with a mix of all the band members coming back. So you can hear the guitar, you can, in theory, I'll get to that, the bass, drums, everything. Although you don't need the monitor to hear the drums because they're right in your ear. It was set up in a way that the bass player and I, through our monitor, we were sharing a common one, it was a pretty big one, could not hear the guitar player. So it was interesting. It was almost that these songs were unrecognizable. But we made it through our set. There was probably, I don't know, 8 or so originals and then 2 covers. The last song we played was a cover. It was kind of, I'm backing up the first half, and then I'm full purview of everyone on the second half of the songs. And the last one to cover, Pink Floyd's Time, I have the long guitar solo on my electric violin, and it was awesome because after I finished soloing, you know, applause, and then even a standing ovation from some of the people. So the rest of the members think that we did a really good job, and who am I to question them? I will go with that answer. Now, there is a spot in one of the songs. Now, if you're familiar with music, if you've heard music before, sometimes there will be everyone's playing and then a stop. And then everyone starts playing again. Well, in some cases, there will be everyone playing and then a stop, and one of the instruments will carry it through to the next part. And I've been doing this in this one song. Boy, you know, the drummer and the other one. John, we all stop there. Don't keep playing. I got it, Tom. Yeah. What in that first part of that song, you know, stop playing when we all stop. Got it. I understand it. And so, me being me, in the performance, and the drummer can't do anything about it, what I did is, we're playing, I'm doing this stuff, and I turn around, I'm laughing at the drummer, and when we all got to that stop, I played through and looked at him. And he has a good sense of humor, so he saw the fun in that. But it went well. It went well. Okay. Now you can see I've got stuff here. I have my sled. This is a sled that I drag stuff around on, even on dry ground. It's handy. If it's heavy stuff, I'll pull it behind the roll-con. I have a big block of peat moss. I have a bag that's got, I'm glad I'm a woodworker and not a mason, a 94 bag of Portland cement. Why do they have to be heavy bags? And then I've got gloves and breathers and all this other stuff. I got my wheelbarrow. In this box is a screen for screening stuff. I've got a garden hole right there. So I've got the complete setup. They must be playing our music for a hypertufa pot planter workshop. And hypertufa is cool stuff. It's about a third, a third, and a third of Portland cement, peat moss, and perlite or vermiculite. And it makes a nice porous container that can be left out all year. And this was made in a nail bucket. And so I'm going to, with the use of all my tools and materials here, put together or do a workshop, perform a workshop tomorrow in here in the pavilion because it's supposed to rain. So we get crafty in this way. And I love these things. I just leave them out all winter and stuff grows in them and water can pass through them and they don't crack in the winter. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. What else do I do as far as workshops? Well, I'm going to beguile, amuse, and entertain you with our fairy house building workshop. And you too can do this. This is just cheap 1/4-inch mahogany plywood. Some call it Luan. And I saw these discs off of cedar trees. I should really have sawed them at a 70-degree angle. Like you see clocks that are made out of sections of trees. 70 degrees is the magic number of degrees, so when it dries it doesn't crack. Although it doesn't matter if it cracks, so I just wringed 100 of these things out, you know, not 100, but a bunch. Enough for kids' fairy house building and adult fun. And yeah, I could sell these things all day long, and you do them production line style because fairy houses are big business. You can sum up a person's personality via the fairy houses that they design. Some people are free form. Just hot glue, if you're doing it with the kids, you can get low temperature, the smaller hot glue guns so they don't burn their fingers, but have a bowl of water with ice in it just in case. All these handy tips. You can also wear gardening gloves when you're doing it, so when you touch the hot glue you don't like leave scars. Anyway, I am not so free form. I even have cedar underneath the eaves there. I have made a dormer. I made a chimbley with black paint, simulated soot. I have shutters, and I've got a little, like a stone foundation on this thing. This is baffling, so you need to have a close-up. And the door, I need to hinge it. I'm a little more architectural than some. Look at that. And for making the cedar shakes and then all these timbers, all I do is I cut a section of a cedar round. Like you take a cedar sapling and you cut it with your compound miter saw or hand saw or whatever. And then you just take a knife and a rubber mallet and just split it. Split it into timbers, split it into shakes. And so that is that. I should have a close-up of that instead of me. What else can I say? I don't know. That's about it. Summer's going well. I have some hours till I can close the gates, but it's nice. There's a breeze through here, and nobody's here except turkeys. Video's over. Now the bonus section. The other day, 2 days ago, on my way to Blissfest, noticed this car was pulling in with a big hound dog in the back, and the back window was down all the way. Yep, you guessed it. I came rolling in here. I told the people, if you are going to stay for some reason, you can't bring the dog out of the car because it will freak out the turkeys. And we pride ourselves on happy and safe wildlife. And of course, the son of this woman jumped out of his passenger side for some reason and released the hound. It was pandemonium. It was horrific. Luckily, the dog did not catch any of the turkeys, wound up running a deer. Ugly scene. I could say, if you're going to have a family pet, dogs are great pets, but choose the dog wisely. You know, don't get a coonhound or a redbone hound unless you're going to be able to take them out on walks or hunt with them. You know, don't get a Malamute or a Husky or Samoyed if you live in an apartment in Phoenix. You know, pick your dogs. For a family pet, I would not recommend a Beagle, especially if you're in the city. They don't come when you call them. They are basically tools, and not in the negative way. It's like, that guy's a tool. That woman is a tool. It's more like a beagle is a dog for hunting rabbits. That's what they love to do. And so don't choose a pet that is out of the scope of your ability to keep them entertained and healthy-minded. And that is that. That is my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to do some stuff over there. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to stay busy or I'm going to fall asleep. Gwen Stefani fan. Have a good one.